Hello.
Hello.
Hello. And good morning.
Good morning.
I hate that I need my readers to see things, but they have that weird glare. So
Like I have my readers on too.
Yeah.
So you're just gonna have to deal with the glare because I need this screen up to quote our talk today.
I'm excited for today. It is our last Facebook Live before our conference.
Oh my God, it is.
I know.
Our conference is next
Thursday.
It's in a week.
We will not be live next Thursday because the conference will be live next Thursday. I hope you remember to book out your calendar for Thursday and Friday because I almost forgot.
Seriously?
Yeah, I almost forgot. I was like, why do I have clients up? Wait a minute. I got to clear my calendar. Yeah. Isn't that funny? Yeah. Hi, Liz. Isn't it great that the United States of America continues to give us fodder for why we're doing this conference?
Yes. No.
No, what we would really, it was a trick question, right?
No.
Like what we would really like is for the government and the country to stop giving us fodder for our conference, but
it's almost a joke because it's so easy to say, let's talk about this as an example to why we're basically doing this conference. Let's use this example, this glaringly obvious, disgusting, obnoxious, ridiculous, ignorant, hypocritical example of badly behaved human beings as an example of why we're doing this conference.
So people who are watching might be wondering what the Supreme Court nominees and banning books has to do with women in mortgage, finance, and real estate. However, we are going to make that argument complete for everybody who's listening.
Yes. And I want to say for the record, for those of you who feign and get bothered by topics of religion and politics, I want to say your parents were wrong when they told you polite conversation doesn't involve politics and religion.
I don't think their parents were wrong. I think it was a different time. And I think that this toxic nostalgia that we have for that different time is no longer relevant in 2022.
Oh, I think that was used as a way to not have conversations over dinner with your family members about politics and religion. And it kept it in boardrooms and offices where women were absent. That's what I think that comment is about. If we don't include our children and our wives and our mothers and our sisters in conversations where we meet in that generation, which is at home with guests, where the hell are we going to talk about politics and religion then? I think that argument was specifically made for women.
Woo! Juicy. Did you know at the same time period, it was also illegal for women to group in more than two people?
Oh, that's an accident.
Without a chaperone?
That's weird that all that happened. Listen, I'm a little sassy today because I woke up to this article that just made me angry.
Yeah, so talk about, I think we're going to start. Okay, so there's two things we're bringing up today. One is about the nominating a Black woman to the Supreme Court, and the other one is about banning books, which I know you all just run with us for just a minute. I know you
everybody
cannot figure out what this has to do with the conference, but run with us on this argument.
In there. We can do this together.
So last week we talked about how that gentleman in Taiwan could find no qualified women to sit on the board for his company. Mm-hmm. And now all of a sudden we're talking about how there's no qualified Black women to sit on the Supreme Court. Would you please directly quote Kennedy from that article?
So GOP Senator John Kennedy, a member of the Judiciary Committee, this is an important committee, by the way, said, number one, I want a nominee who knows a law book from a JCrew catalog in regards to the possible Black women candidates. And number two, I want a nominee who's not going to try and rewrite the Constitution every other Thursday to try and advance a woke agenda.
Ironically, the JCrew catalog comment was not made about Supreme Court Justice Barrett.
Or Sotomayor, or any of the male individuals.
I mean, there are some snappy dressers Scalia had quite the wardrobe, honestly. Like Scalia
Yeah.
had a great wardrobe. Like,
Well, let's talk about that comment. Let's just pull that apart for a second. So are you suggesting that Black women who sit as judges and attorneys who've gone through law school, who have done really great things because their records are out there, they have extensive experience in law. So you're suggesting that just because they're Black, that they don't, and women, that they don't understand the Constitution and they only know about style and clothing purchases?
I mean, this is, we have a long history of this public evisceration of women, particularly women of color, and whether or not their capacity is diminished by their fashion choices, number one, and by the fact that we still believe that women are stupider and less capable than men.
Yeah.
And this is why we decided to do this damn conference, because over and over you were hearing about how the companies you were working for were woke, to use that term.
They're not.
And they're not. And they're not hiring women, and they're not recruiting women.
They're not paying women fairly.
And here's what I've learned. Many women have to go and start their own damn companies to get what they want out of things.
Or you have to produce so much that you would get to a level where they just leave you alone and they don't bother you anymore. And even then, you're not guaranteed fair pay, as we've established over a lot of these conversations.
Mm-hmm. And apparently we're also not, going to get representation on the Supreme Court.
No. So I just woke up. There's a bunch of other comments. Tucker Carlson. We all know Tucker needs to.
No, we're not even going to quote that person.
Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz had something horrible to say. I mean, it goes on and on and on. And I just want to say, if you believe for a hot minute that there's not a Black woman that's qualified to sit on the Supreme Court, then you are part of the problem.
Also, I also want to say that if you're not listening to the language being used to disqualify these women, you're not seeing how this is the thread and the tapestry that is pervasive through the finance and mortgage industry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's the same thing.
This language is no different than the language used to disqualify women in mortgage.
Yeah. So 100%. I'm a little fired up this morning after reading.
You're a lot fired up. Don't even diminish that you're not a little fired up. You are like, yo, I'm on fire. Why is my nose itching? It's so annoying.
Well, I just find it so, like, okay, we talk about the values of, make America great again. Those values, like let's go back to the 1950s. And I've said a million times, who was the 1950s good for? White men. It wasn't good for me. It wouldn't have been good for me.
No.
It wasn't good for my grandma. It wasn't good. My mom was just born, but it wouldn't have been good for my mom. And I think that we have to remember, when we get nostalgic for all of these don't talk politics and religion and polite company, and if only we could go back to the times when, things were good and the country was wholesome, is a bunch of crap. Yeah. It wasn't good and wholesome. It was only good and wholesome for a few people. And you closed your eyes to all the other crap that was happening, right? So until we get rid of state-sanctioned child marriages for girls, until we get rid, which happens in a lot of states still, until we acknowledge that there are qualified women that can sit on all boards and places everywhere in the country, even the Supreme Court, that women, Black women, Asian women, every woman is, there's a woman in every category, if you need to categorize women, that qualify to do the job that you yourself may be sitting and doing. Yep. And if that makes you scared, I can't fix that. That's your problem. If that threatens you, that's your issue.
I think it's really one of the things that I've noticed as we have been having these conversations with all these women throughout the last 2 years. And here we are culminating to this event that we have brought together, is that for many women, many women that we have talked to throughout the mortgage industry, it is really difficult for them to see that the persecution of people in mainstream society outside of the industry is directly related to the persecution of women in the mortgage industry.
Mhm.
And I think what you're raising is a really important point. And this is actually what has to do with banning books. The minute we start silencing people's stories and people's voices, and I will actually say this also for the right wing, for the Make America Great people again, I don't care who we're silencing. The minute we start telling people to shut up, the minute we start silencing and erasing people's stories, no matter what side of politics they play on, is the minute we feed into the idea that women are not allowed to be wealthy, women are not allowed to be abundant, women are not allowed to sit in the spaces of power and control, particularly women of color. And so I've made this argument often, the reason our current system is not working is because there are only two sides to the story. So for most of us that live our life in the middle of those two sides of the story, our voices don't get heard. And the more we persecute and erase people's stories, the more divisive and polarized this country is going to become. And that, I think, is the beauty of what we have put together for this conference, because we have a variety of voices coming to that stage that come from many different backgrounds. And I think that is the beauty of what we have accomplished with this conference, is it's not like overly liberal and it's not overly conservative. I think we have brought together a group of women who identify as LGBT, Native American, Asian, Black, white, conservative, liberal, outspoken, well experienced and experts in their field. And that is the difference with what we're doing.
I'm excited. Because I've said it before, this is the conference of my dreams. This is the opportunity to have a safe space where people can really say what they think, because we've talked about this. Almost every person we've interviewed, we've had our on-camera conversations and we've had our off-camera conversations.
Yes.
And what that means is that it doesn't matter where somebody sits in their life or what chair they occupy, whether it's the average employee or it's a C-suite. There are conversations that the most powerful women in our industry are still not comfortable having in public. Mm-hmm. And I want you to sit on that. So that means when all of us arrive to wherever we're going, however hard we worked and whatever we sacrificed, and it doesn't matter how qualified or valid our opinions are, we're still functioning at some level of fear. Yep. Of what's going to happen if we speak up and tell our truth and tell our story or share our opinion or yep. just talk out loud. And if we continue to pretend that that's not happening, we're kidding ourselves.
Well, and I think this is a really great opportunity for us to all lean into that discomfort. So anybody who's watching this, who's been on the fence, any man who runs a mortgage company, who really, wants to diversify the pipeline, should be coming to this conference. Any woman who has been silenced in this industry, whether it's insurance, finance, investments, real estate, mortgage, if you are having to deal with helping a human get a mortgage, get a loan, then this is the place you want to come and sit. Not at the average industry conference, but this conference. And yeah. I hope people get that. Like, I really hope people are looking at what's happening with the Supreme Court, with banning books, with all of the things that have occurred even in the last 3 months. And they're going, oh, I wonder how this is going to impact the economy.
Yeah. Well, I think if we're part of everything, if we just can be included.
We cannot separate these things.
No, maybe
from the mortgage industry.
Mhm.
There is no separation from the mortgage industry when we're talking about the Supreme Court and banning books.
Yep.
It's actually all related.
Mhm.
It is a tapestry.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And man, I could talk about this stuff for hours, but
Yeah.
it's an early morning political discussion essentially for a lot of people. And I hope they all like got their fans out and made it through it.
Listen,
Woo!
if you want to have more fun, I'm telling you, I got to listen to Jamie Lee talk about negotiation just in like a little 20-minute conversation.
Yeah.
And I was like, my head exploded. I'm trying to take notes. She's like, you do realize I'm doing this for 45 minutes at your conference. And I was like, oh yeah. Wait, can you say that again? You know,
And
it was so good.
did you see I shared that interview that you did with Soraya? I think it was in 2018 or 2019 that made me fall in love with that woman. And that's on my personal Facebook page. If anybody wants to watch it, I was just amening through that whole thing. Like it was like going to church. It was amazing.
Yeah.
That interview you did. So that's there. Maybe we should share that at them.
I think we should put it on our LinkedIn
Conference?
page. Let's put it on our LinkedIn page and our Facebook page.
Okay, I'll do that.
That is a great interview. I love that interview.
Yeah. And that's really what we're here for. That's what we're here for. So, there's going to probably be some political talk at this. There's no way to avoid it, but we're talking about a lot of stuff in regards to women. And it's just going to be a beautiful 2 days of everything that we should have been told. They should have shared with us early on that nobody did. That's what we're here for, to share our combined knowledge and experience so that we don't have to struggle through this anymore.
It's going to be epic. I'm so excited. Yay. I hope you have a really great day, Liz.
You too. Have a wonderful day.
Talk to you soon.